Baldur's Gate 3 has over 200 spells at launch and will eventually feature more than 600 spells in total. In this video series, I will be ranking the top 10 spells for each and every spell level. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now with that out of the way, let's get nerdy. Starting the cantrip ranking off at number 10 is Firebolt. The Firebolt cantrip allows spellcasters such as wizards, sorcerers, arcane tricksters and the Eldritch Knight Fighter to conjure and shoot a bolt of fire at a target within range. Firebolt is an attack roll cantrip, requiring a standard action to cast and has an effective range of 60 feet. On a successful hit, it deals 1d10 fire damage, being one of the largest cantrip damage die in BG3. Fire damage, however, is a somewhat commonly resisted elemental damage type, especially at higher levels of play. In order to determine if a firebolt hits the target, the caster makes a ranged spell attack roll, adding their spell attack bonus to the result, and if this is higher than the target's armor class or AC, the bolt finds its mark, setting anything flammable ablaze, adding some tactical and utility options for creative players. The damage dealt by Firebolt also increases as the caster gains levels, adding a further d10 at level 5 and 11, making it more potent as characters progress. Firebolt is a versatile and widely chosen cantrip for spellcasters, providing a powerful at-will range damage option throughout their adventures. Its simplicity and effectiveness makes it an iconic choice for those who seek to wield the primal force of fire in their magical arsenal. In 9th place is Mage Hand. Mage Hand is mostly a utility cantrip and is available to bards, sorcerers, warlocks and wizards, as well as Eldritch Knight Fighters and arcane trickster rogues, and conjures a spectral incorporeal hand at will. This magical hand serves as an unseen and immaterial extension of the caster's own hand, granting them the ability to manipulate and interact with objects from a distance. Mage Hand requires an action to cast, has a range of 60 feet allowing casters to interact and manipulate objects within that range, and lasts for 10 turns before dissipating. It appears as an intangible, shimmering and ghostly hand and hovers in the air, under the caster's control. The Mage Hand can perform simple tasks that human hands could, such as picking up objects, opening doors, pushing buttons, or turning keys. Arcane trickster rogues get a special version of Mage Hand, capable of lockpicking chests from a safe distance, stealing items off of unsuspecting marks, all whilst being completely invisible. While the Mage Hand can perform various actions, it has limited strengths and cannot exert forces beyond a few pounds. The Mage Hand cantrip provides spellcasters with a versatile tool for various solutions. It is often used to interact with objects from a safe distance, trigger traps cautiously, or carry out subtle actions in stealthy scenarios. Whether it's assisting in exploration or solving puzzles, the Mage Hand cantrip offers creative solutions and adds depth to spellcasters' repertoire of magical abilities. Finding its place at 8th on the ranking is Shillelagh. In BG3, Shillelagh is only available to druids and magically empowers a wooden club or quarterstaff, transforming it into a potent magical weapon for the duration of the spell. Shillelagh requires the caster to touch a wooden club or quarterstaff as they invoke the spell. The weapon glows with a faint green light signifying magical enchantment. Once cast, the effective club or quarterstaff becomes a magical weapon for the duration of the spell, and this means the weapon's attacks use the spellcaster's spellcasting ability modifier, such as the wisdom for the druid, instead of the usual strength or dexterity modifier. The weapon's damage type changes to magical bludgeoning for the duration of the spell, granting the caster the ability to bypass resistances and immunities to non-magical attacks. Shillelagh's effects last for 10 rounds, unless the caster fails to maintain concentration, allowing druids who might not rely on traditional weaponry to have a viable melee option in combat. The Shillelagh cantrip exemplifies the druidic connection to nature's magic and provides an alternative combat option for spellcasters who wish to engage in close quarter combat with a magically empowered wooden weapon. It also adds a touch of thematic flavor to characters who embrace the wilderness and natural world in their adventures. In at 7th place is Vicious Mockery. Vicious Mockery is a bard exclusive cantrip. It is a powerful, unique spell that allows bards to unleash cutting insults and taunts upon its target to deal psychic damage and impose disadvantage on their next attack. The spell deals psychic damage, which represents the emotional harm inflicted by the bard's biting words. The damage also scales with the bard's level, making it more potent as they advance. A successful hit with Vicious Mockery imposes disadvantage on the target's next attack roll. The verbal assault weakened the target's resolve and concentration, affecting their combat effectiveness. Vicious Mockery has a casting range of 60 feet, requiring the target to be within hearing distance of the bard. In order to resist the effects of Vicious Mockery, the target must make a wisdom saving throw. A successful save reduces the damage and avoids the disadvantage effect. Vicious Mockery is not only a powerful combat cantrip, but also provides great role-playing opportunities for bards to engage in witty banter and taunting during encounters. The spell's unique blend of damage and crowd control effects make it a popular choice for bards looking to contribute both offensively and be creative in combat. The ability to inflict damage with words alone is a testament to the bard's skill in using the power of music and performance to weave magic on the battlefield. 6th place in the ranking goes to Ray of Frost. Ray of Frost can be selected by sorcerers and wizards, as well as Eldritch Knight fighters and arcane trickster rogues. Casting the spell shoots a frigid beam of ice at a target within range. It is a damaging cantrip that harnesses the power of cold to deal damage and provide additional effects. Ray of Frost deals 1d8 cold damage, which is a common elemental damage type. However, cold damage is not as commonly resisted as fire, although it does become less reliable at high levels of play. To determine if the Ray of Frost hits the target, the caster makes a ranged spell attack roll, adding their spell attack bonus to the result. The total is then compared to the target's armor class, and if it meets or beats it, it hits. One of the unique effects of Ray of Frost is the ability to reduce the speed of the creature it hits. On a successful hit, the target's speed is reduced until the start of the character's next turn by 10 feet. As most cantrips, damage dealt scales with level, and as such, Ray of Frost increases as the caster gains experience, adding a further 1d8 at levels 5 and level 11. In BG3, Ray of Frost can also be cast on liquid surfaces, freezing them instantly, making it difficult terrain, halving movement speed on the ice surface, and adds a chance for enemies to slip and fall prone, ending their turn. The Ray of Frost cantrip provides spellcasters with a versatile offensive option that deals cold damage and can potentially slow down enemies, making it valuable in both combat and exploration scenarios. With its freezing powers, Ray of Frost allows casters to wield the chilling essence of ice and snow as a potent weapon in their magical repertoire. 5th place overall goes to Minor Illusion. Minor Illusion allows bards, sorcerers, warlocks, wizards, Eldritch Knight fighters, and arcane trickster rogues to create a minor illusionary sensory effect within range that distracts enemies as they gather to inspect the conjured effect. The spell creates a minor and relatively simple illusion that can either be a sound or an image. The illusion is static and cannot move or change dynamically. The minor illusion cantrip lasts for 10 rounds, providing a limited but useful time frame for the illusion to be maintained. While the illusion is not physically real, creatures that fail an intelligence investigation check will proceed to investigate. The main use of Minor Illusion in BG3 is to either get a number of enemies together before starting combat in order to drop an AoE spell on them, or to distract enemies in order to sneak past them unseen. The Minor Illusion cantrip provides creative players with a versatile tool to manipulate the perceptions of others, creating additional avenues of approach. If you like playing chess, this is the cantrip for you. One spot shy of the podium at number 4 is Thorn Whip. Thorn Whip is only available to bards and allows them to summon a vine-like whip covered in thorns and lash out at a creature within range. The spell harnesses the power of nature to deal damage and potentially move the target closer to the caster. Thorn Whip requires an action to cast, with the druid making an attack roll to determine if the whip finds its target successfully. The spell deals 1d6 piercing damage, which is a physical non-magical damage type. Thorn Whip has an effective range of 30 feet, and if the spell attack hits, the vine-like whip wraps around the target, and the caster can choose to pull the creature up to 10 feet closer, providing the target is large or smaller in size. Extremely useful for repositioning enemies or allies during combat. The 1d6 piercing damage dealt by Thorn Whip increases as the caster gains levels, improving to 2d6 at level 5 and 3d6 at level 11, making it more potent as the character progresses. The Thorn Whip cantrip showcases the druid's connection to nature and its ability to wield these elements in combat, lashing out at foes from a distance, dealing damage and manipulating the battlefield to their advantage. With its versatility, Thorn Whip is a favored choice for druids seeking to embrace their primal roots and utilize the forces of nature in their magical arsenal. Breaking into the top 3 is Chill Touch. The Chill Touch cantrip is typically available to sorcerers, warlocks, wizards, Eldritch Knight fighters, and arcane trickster rogues. Despite its name, the spell does not deal cold damage, like one would expect, but instead it harnesses negative energy to deal necrotic damage, and has additional effects against undead creatures. Despite what the name would imply, Chill Touch is also not a touch spell. It has an effective range of 60 feet and requires an action to cast, with the caster making an attack roll to determine its success. The spell deals 1d6 necrotic damage, which represents the draining of the life force or negative energy, which is one of the more reliable damage types, with fewer enemies having resistances or immunities to its effects. Against undead creatures, Chill Touch has a unique secondary effect, imposing disadvantage to their attack rolls until the start of the caster's next turn, representing the necrotic energy's unsettling effect on the undead creature. Damage dealt by Chill Touch increases by an additional d6 at level 5 and level 11. The Chill Touch cantrip showcases the darker and necromantic side of magic, as spellcasters channel negative energy to harm their enemies and manipulate undead creatures. With its unique interaction against undead foes, Chill Touch is a favored choice for those who embrace the darker arts and seek to wield the power of necromancy in their magical repertoire. Just shy of the number 1 spot in second place is Guidance. In BG3, the Guidance cantrip is primarily associated with clerics and druids. It's a buffing cantrip that allows the caster to touch a willing creature and grant them a supernatural guidance, enhancing their ability in certain situations. Guidance requires an action to cast, with the caster touching a willing creature, adding a d4 to one ability check of their choice. This means they roll an additional 4-sided die and add the result to their next ability check result, potentially improving the chances of success. The recipient can choose when to use the d4 bonus during the spell's duration of 1 minute or 10 turns, making it a versatile cantrip that can be applied to various situations, such as skill checks, saving throws, or even attack rolls. The spammable nature of Guidance means that outside of combat, characters are proficient in every skill in the game, improving their chances of success while interacting with the game world and NPCs. Guidance showcases the spellcaster's ability to provide divine assistance or Mother Nature's grace to their companions. By bestowing this magical boon, spellcasters can aid their allies in crucial moments, offering a small but significant advantage in overcoming challenges and obstacles. Whether it's aiding in a lockpicking attempt, bolstering a friend's resolve against fear, or helping them navigate through treacherous terrain, the Guidance Cantrip exemplifies the supportive characteristics of divine and nature magic. And the number one gaming analytics Baldur's Gate 3 cantrip is Eldritch Blast. Eldritch Blast is the signature and most iconic spell for Warlock characters, offering a potent and versatile offensive option. The casting of Eldritch Blast requires an attack roll to be made against an enemy target within 60 feet and uses a standard action to do so. The spell deals 1d10 force damage, which is a powerful and generally very rarely resisted damage type. It bypasses most resistances and immunities, making it effective against a wide range of creatures. At levels 5 and 11, the caster gains the ability to cast 2 and then 3 beams with a single casting of Eldritch Blast. Each beam is treated as a separate attack, allowing the Warlock to hit multiple targets or focus their fire on a single foe. What really separates Eldritch Blast from other cantrips on this list is the invocations that Warlocks can choose to modify and enhance Eldritch Blast, such as adding one's Charisma modifier when inflicting damage for each beam with Agonizing Blast, or the ability to push an enemy 15 feet with each hit with Repelling Blast. The Eldritch Blast cantrip embodies the Warlock's pact with otherworldly entities, granting them the ability to channel Eldritch powers as a deadly force. It is a versatile and iconic spell, often shaping the playstyle and character concept of Warlocks, who become formidable wielders of this destructive and darkly alluring spell. And there you have it, the top 10 best cantrips in Baldur's Gate 3. Obviously these are ranked based on my personal experience playing BG3, D&D 5e and the research undertaken. What are your favorites? Let me know in the comments down below. Please like, subscribe, and I truly hope to see you again soon.